Be with Shaq. I don't win a championship. You don't think I could carry the Lakers to a championship? Like, I've never had the opportunity.
Y'all were up 3-1 one time, and you thought y'all had it in the bag.
We up 3-1.
You were up 3-1. So if you're good enough to...
So we have to dive into this because Matt Barnes has stepped up to defend Kobe Bryant against some of the recent comments from Dwayne Wade, Gilbert Arenas, and Tracy McGrady over the past few weeks. A lot of this started with the whole ring culture debate that LeBron has been part of. Honestly, I don't get why people make such a big deal about rings as the ultimate measure of greatness. Anyway, D. Wade came out, and we'll check those clips, but he mentioned that Pau Gasol was probably the finals MVP in that last championship they won, at least in his view. Then you had Tracy McGrady saying he feels like he could have won a ring. He's since tried to clarify that statement, and we'll touch on that too. But originally, he said he could have won a ring alongside Shaq, which upset a lot of people. With T-Mac, a lot of criticism stems from that Detroit series. They were up 3-1, and he needed to close out that series by any means necessary. Then there's Gilbert Arenas, who's been saying some controversial things and getting pushed back by Rashad MC on his own show. So let's break it down and get into the details, guys.
Be with Shaq. I don't win a championship. You don't think I could carry the Lakers to a championship? Like, I've never had the opportunity.
Y'all were up 3-1 one time, and you thought y'all had it in the bag.
We up 3-1.
You were up 3-1. So if you're good enough to be up 3-1, they expected you to close the deal. That was the only thing
Kobe's
anybody
never
ever
been up
said.
3-1.
Now,
Who's leading the one who's leading the team? That's the gold member right there. That ring counts.
In that finals, that last finals that they won, Kobe didn't play well. Kobe didn't shoot the ball well. Actually, everybody thought Pau Gasol should have been MVP. That's how well Pau was playing, and Kobe was playing awful.
You know, MB, man, speaking of the Lakers, since we on that, man, you know, guys out here talking crazy about Bean right now.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
like all of a sudden, you know, it's what they could have done.
I don't like
you know, Bean.
I don't like the injury around the energy around it.
Yeah,
And,
man. I saw you made a post, man, and it kind of took off, man. What's your feeling on that?
I just don't like because none of this weird talk was going on while he was here. And I also think I want to also say something else. Like, I work for ESPN, I work for Fox, some of these big machines. When you have people talking about the greatness of players, it's not that I don't respect it, I just don't go by it. And I think a lot of former players don't go by it. You got to listen to what your peers are talking about. It's crazy how when you look at ESPN, Kobe's always on the outside of 10. But when you talk to, there's plenty of clips on YouTube when you're talking to some of the guys that went to war before or after or with them, like, yeah, Kobe's 2, Kobe's 3, Kobe's top 5. So my whole thing too is don't listen to, there's so many athletes. And again, I'm not saying don't listen to the people outside, because there's some very qualified people, but when it comes to like legacy and greatness in a sport, like I would tend to lean towards the players, because you see it day in and day out and know what it takes to lace them up every single day and play through what he played through and do what he did. So I say all that to say, like, there's with the bigger companies and machines and talking heads, there's favorites, there's narratives they stick to, there's dislikes they have. And let's keep it real, like before Kobe died, like he was a hit or miss as far as kind of popularity with some of the shit he had been through and the way people perceived his energy at times. So there was already a lot of kind of but I think after he died, like the real one spoke up to speak about his greatness. But I feel like there's a lot of other people that will speak to stir shit up. And it's crazy that it's former players. You know what I mean? So I just said what I said because like none of you guys was talking this shit when he was here. And the coulda, woulda, shoulda, and the disrespect with the Powell shoulda won the fight. Like it's just like, come on, y'all. Like let's really remember. Let's look at the numbers. And we've all been there with him or against him. Like, let's keep it real. And obviously this is all opinion based. You know what I mean? Like to me, Kobe is the second greatest player of all time.
Agreed.
Period. Like everyone tries to, for some reason, people want to knock his greatness because he played with Shaq, but they don't knock Magic's greatness when he played with Kareem. They don't knock LeBron's greatness when he played with D Wade and Bosh. They don't knock LeBron's greatness when he played with AD. They knock Kobe's greatness because of Shaq, and he was the Rob. But go look at the fucking numbers. You know what I mean? That doesn't say Robin to me. That just says a more mature.
Now, as you just heard from Matt Barnes, he called out very specific comments that were made, which I just showed you, from Dwayne Wade and Tracy McGrady. He highlighted the shoulda, coulda, woulda stuff from T-Mac and noted how Pau was playing better during that time. Matt Barnes pointed directly at what both D. Wade and T-Mac had said. Since then, T-Mac has come forward and tried to clarify his remarks. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
Kobe's my man. And to go back to those comments, I never should have said replace. I don't want to say I'm replacing Kobe. Kobe's my brother, bro. There's no way in hell I will ever disrespect my brother like that. Yes, it came out as me replacing. I never said I was better than Kobe. Kobe and Shaq is winning 3 championships. At this time, I think by the second or third championship, Kobe's probably the best player in the game. When you look at Kobe and you look at MJ and these guys that are on that tier, it's an obsession that they have with the game of basketball. I will stand on playing with Shaq, though. Yeah, I believe if I'm playing with that big guy.
Now, all of this ties into the whole ring culture debate, and I'm not someone who fully buys into ring culture. As I said before, I can respect guys who stay in their cities, lead their teams, and create excitement in the league because it keeps fans engaged night after night. However, players who can actually win, especially multiple times or in different situations, command serious respect. Even one ring in a small market team like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander now puts him in rarefied air. Jalen Williams has solidified himself as a modern-day Scottie Pippen type of sidekick, the kind of player you need when battling for a championship. Winning in small markets is huge, but Kobe won in a major market with the Lakers alongside Shaq. When you achieve a three-peat and then win 2 more, you enter legendary territory. Sometimes it feels like discussions about Kobe today downplay how many rings he actually won. People might think he only won 1 or 2. I remember the conversation shifting where LeBron was prematurely elevated above Kobe at one point, and it just evolved from there. As Kobe's career wound down, he was framed as finishing slightly behind Michael Jordan as a GOAT candidate, but he was right there in that class. He played with another GOAT in his era, Tim Duncan, in the same conference. Both came out of their careers with 5 rings, which speaks volumes about how dominant and consistent that Spurs team was. They were more consistent than the Lakers during that stretch, even though the Lakers had 3 peaks and some very high highs. The Spurs were consistently in the postseason, able to refine and retool their roster effectively, which largely came down to Tim Duncan. The point is, Kobe was competing against another GOAT at his position and still managed to get 5 rings out of the conference. He had Shaq for 3 of those rings, and you could argue that Shaq was the better player on the first one. By the 3rd ring, though, both were top players, and Kobe's achievements speak for themselves. Right on the same level with the closer. You know, Kobe in clutch moments, free throws, ball in his hands, he could do it all. You needed a guard to handle those situations, and Kobe was great at it. As time has gone on, in my opinion, LeBron has been elevated way past Kobe, which I've always found a bit egregious. Looking at how Kobe won his titles, he probably should have a few more MVPs. You can't look at the history of the league and say Nash got 2 MVPs and Kobe got 1, because that doesn't fully capture Kobe's impact. The same kind of discussion applies with Jokic, and even with LeBron, people overlook winning back-to-back titles or potentially winning 3 in a season. It's a huge accomplishment. Awards tell part of the story, but you need the eye test to truly gauge a player in real time. For me, Jordan is the top 2 guard, Kobe is right behind him, and Kobe is probably closer to Mike than anyone else at that position. That's how it should be framed, but now people keep pushing Kobe further down the list. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time.